how to winterize. So the first thing is change the oil. So you need to lift up the motor so it's like you're going to tow it, so it's all the way up, and let it sit for about a minute, which will let the oil drain down into the crankcase, and then set it vertical like this, like it is right now. And then go ahead and you're going to hook up down to this guy right here. There is a plastic drain hose that we have that shoves on top of that. It likes to snake around, and then you put it down into the tub and drain. It'll fill the tub almost full, and it takes 6.3 quarts, and it takes all of that. So I've got 7-quart bottles, which is easy to put in, and the filler is right there. So the filler's there, and then the dipstick there lets you test it. So drain her down, and it takes a while to drain down, so give yourself some time. It takes a good 10 to 15 minutes to fully drain out. Do not run the engine first. Do not run the engine first. It needs to be cold for at least an hour. So it's one of them where you don't run the engine at all. So when you start any of the maintenance, don't run the engine at all. So put it down and change the oil. And then the oil filter is, I use a nice little device like this to loosen it. Goes on the socket and it loosens it off. And take that off, and then throw the old one away. And the new one, grab some new engine oil. And there's a Quicksilver as well. Here's the Mercury version of it. And then there is the Quicksilver version of it. Put the numbers. And there's the Mercury. Okay. So then you got the filter. Put that back on. Hand tight it, and then like quarter turn it just a little bit more. I mean, you want to just hand snug it so that it's good and snug, but that's it. You don't need to do any more. And when you do drain the plug, or take the filter off, you put that same hose, that plastic clear hose, onto here, and then drain it down in case it drains. It actually, when I did it here after draining the bottom and draining all the oil out, it didn't have any oil left, so it was good. So that was good. And then there is an oil or a gas filter that needs to get changed. And what you do is you pull this backwards to get it out from underneath this little clip. And then you lift up. And the hose that's down underneath on the bottom side of this feels like it's going to come off. So be gentle when you pull up. And it pulls up kind of hard, but don't pull up too hard and have it disconnect, because you'll never get it pulled back out, because it falls down into a hole, and it'll be an insanity to get it pulled back up. So pull it up gently and get it pulled out, and then hold it. And there's a little red, you see the little red, that's a little release. So push the little releases and get it out. So when you take the top one off, it comes out fine. The bottom one, when you take it off, there's going to be gas coming out of the bottom, out of the filter. So throw a rag down in here, or throw some paper towels down in there for when that filter gets disconnected from the bottom hose, and then let it drain into that. But the most important thing is to make sure you're holding on to that bottom hose and never let go of it, ever. So take that bottom hose and hold on to it like gold, because if it falls back down in the hole, we're screwed. So you have your other filter ready to go, and the filter has a ring on the bottom of it, and a top part of the filter does not have this wider ring. The bottom part where the ring is wider is what goes toward the engine down on the bottom. So then put it back down in there. I used a screwdriver to kind of lodge it up against the side once I had the bottom hose connected firmly, and then that way I could push down with the top hose, because the top hose wouldn't push down on it without pushing everything down in the hole, and it wouldn't lock in. So I needed to kind of leverage the filter out a little bit so I could snap it and push this baby down on it. So I pushed her down on and got her down in there. And you can see kind of how the hose is. That was that. And then doing the draining the lower gear case, you have to take the propeller off. So the prop comes off, and it's inside. So it's inside of here. And then the vent hole is up there, is the vent hole. So right there's the vent hole. I'll take that one out first and then get the prop off and then pop the nut off that's behind the prop, and that drains out. It takes forever to drain that out, at least 15 minutes to get that drained. And then once you get it drained out, often enough you'll have these yellow gaskets that need to go back into each of those holes and replace those. And then you'll have this guy here that goes into the gear lubricant, and squirt that in there. It'll take just a tad shy underneath one. It's supposed to take one full one of these, but when I did mine, it only took about 3/4 of one. So either mine didn't drain far enough or something, but I've got enough replacement in there. So you got the gear lube in there that's been quasi swapped out, I guess. And then lastly, after you get that, now I've got it hooked up and I'm supposed to run it for 15 minutes on the water to kind of clean out the radiator basically. So it hooks into this guy here and just run it at about half enough so that the squirter's exhausting about that far. And then the last thing I've got to do is I've got to pull the spark plugs out, each one, 4 of them, and I need to pop them out, and I need to spray in some fogger so that I can fog them so they don't get rusty inside. So I've got some fog for that, and it takes about 1 ounce of fog. So this is a 12-ounce can, so it's going to be just a little burst to get some in there. And then I have a torque wrench, this Lexivon torque wrench, and you need to torque that back up. And I don't have the spec in my head what the torque is for that, but you have to torque them back up, and it's in the Mercury manual that I have. I should have that here. I'm going to pause it and get it quick. The spark plug is 20 pound-foot or 27 Nm as far as the torque that should be on it. And then lastly, and I didn't do it here because I didn't need it, and it's the power trim fluid, because as I understand it, basically power trim will, if it doesn't want to raise up and lower decently, you would do the power trim, which is underneath here, and there's a button there that you have to, or a bolt that you have to take out and test it and just see where it's at. And it's like a hydraulic jack basically. It needs to be to that fill hole, and if you need to do some of that, you put in a little bit of power trim fluid and you're ready to go. That's it.